And welcome, sports fans, to today's Roundtable. Glad you joined us. Quite a show we've got for today. It's been quite a week in the high school basketball scene in the area, and what a night it was last night across the board. Some big competitive games across the board last night, and some buzzer beaters, some failed buzzer beaters, some full court shots, and even some big conference games that really took it down to the wire across the area last night. So a very exciting night last night throughout the area, and we're going to get to a lot of it. We got highlights from 3 games to show you for today. Our game last night, New Madrid County Central and Dexter. Also from Tuesday night, Saxony Lutheran and Kennett, and even Monday night, big matchup from Monday night, Oran and Bernie. So we had a busy week with broadcasts and some highlights to show you from this week, as well as some scores from the last few days across the area in boys and girls basketball. And also we've got a special guest in for today. We've got over the phone with us this morning, Andrew Halford, the Kennett basketball coach. They come off a big win last night. We'll talk about that and the Kennett Indians season so far. So good to have Andrew Halford in with us here momentarily. And also we'll talk about some conference tournaments coming up. It's that time of year here at the end of January where we start to get into some conference tournaments. We'll give you the brackets of the Stoddard County Activities Association tournament that's coming up next week. And also we'll talk about our broadcast schedule coming up for the remainder of games that we've got over the next few weeks, and as well as updated state rankings. Quite a few teams in the area and those state rankings for the state of Missouri, so we'll get to those as well. So quite a show to get to for today, so let's go right into it, starting with some basketball results from last night. Let's get to the games from the area last night, starting off with a game that we brought to you live from Dexter. And it was New Madrid County Central edging Dexter 47-46. Low-scoring affair there last night, but come all the way down to the end as New Madrid held off Dexter. New Madrid had controlled most of the game. It was about an 8 to 10 point game through most of that game. Dexter made a run late, had a chance at the very end, and New Madrid come up with a big defensive stop late. With just under a minute, actually under about 20 seconds, come up with a big stop late to secure the victory for the Eagles last night. And we got some highlights of that one from last night. Let's go ahead and take a look at those results, highlights from last night's game. And here we see a nice basket underneath. Garrett Henson getting the basket for the Bearcats. Nice inbound here. And Henson getting the basket and the foul off the inbound. Enzel Underwood with a nice little reverse layup. And we see here Bryce Shaw Williams got about 4 of these in the game. And got an easy basket off the steal there. And we see here a nice take to the basket for the Bearcats. And Kevon Williams knocking down that baseline jumper. He had a nice night for the Eagles. Nice entry pass. Garrett Henson with the finish for the Bearcats. And here a 3-pointer on the left side. Up and good. Dylan Seitz knocking that one down. Nice backdoor cut and a finish for the Bearcats. Nice high-low action. Kevon Williams getting the basket for the Eagles. And Andrea Ellinghaus getting a tough basket underneath here into the second half. And nice putback. Garrett Henson with the putback for Dexter, and Kylan Menner getting a nice assist in the transition for the Eagles, and Kevon Williams, nice putback and the foul for New Madrid. And we see here a nice 3-pointer along the right side. And here a steal, Austin Davis getting a steal right at the basket for an easy 2 for the Eagles. Nice dump down pass. New Madrid with the look there. Kevon Williams with a nice assist for New Madrid there. And into the 4th 3-pointer on the right side, up and good. And we see here Austin Davis getting a nice little up and under layup there. And nice here putback and foul for the Bearcats. And Kevon Williams really getting some nice baskets underneath, tough baskets underneath. And we see here nice high-low action. And Ellinghaus getting a nice 3 with a minute to go to cut it to 1. That cut it to 47-46. But at that point, New Madrid made the stops late to hold off the Bearcats. 47-46 and an impressive victory for New Madrid last night. Dexter's had some tough ones here in the last week. Dropped one to Bernie last Friday night, got down early, come back late, just come up a bit short, and last night fell down early to New Madrid, come back late, just fell 1 point short to New Madrid last night. So Dexter just going to have to get out to some better starts going forward, and they'll be competitive going forward. Dexter got a nice team, but just falling down early and having to come back late and just coming up a bit short. New Madrid getting a nice SCAA Conference victory. They've got a couple of those so far this year. Defeated Kennett, I believe, a week or two back, and beating Dexter last night. So New Madrid off to a pretty good start. Did take a loss to Cape Central in the conference. So, but very competitive SCAA Conference once again this year. And moving on to some other games from last night. Big game last night up at the Sykeston Fieldhouse, and the Kennett Indians go up to the Fieldhouse and get a SCAA Conference victory on the road at the Fieldhouse, 82-79. What a game and what a win for the Kennett Indians. They've had quite a few SCAA Conference victories this year, going back to the Fieldhouse from the SCAA Conference Tournament. Got that victory over Notre Dame, and then Sykeston in here in the regular season. So Kennett putting together a great year, and we'll be talking with Andrew Halford about that win and the Kennett Indian season here momentarily, so stick around for that. And other games, Notre Dame over Saxony Lutheran, big, 94-37. Scott County Central over Clarkton, 67-47. Holcomb over Risco, 68-67, all the way down to the end, and a failed buzzer beater by Risco to lose that to Holcomb. And we'll talk more about that in our next segment, or our upcoming segment. But Tri-County Conference game there, all the way down to the end, and Holcomb edging out Risco. Charleston over Goreville, Illinois, over in the Superman Classic in Metropolis, Illinois. That was 81-70. Charleston getting that victory over there. Delta over Kelly, 81-79, and a buzzer beater there. Delta's John Bond hits a buzzer beater and to get the 2-point victory over Kelly. So impressive win for the Delta Bobcats. Oran over Bell City, 84-51. Crothersville over Hayti, and a nail-biter between those two Boot Hill Conference teams. Crothersville defeating Hayti 79-77. It looked like Hayti might be able to come into the Boot Hill Conference Tournament as the top seed, and who knows now. I'll tell you, the top 4 or 5 teams between Hayti, Crothersville, Campbell, Portageville, South Penn, and what's the other one I'm looking for? Pretty much those 4 or 5 teams, and you even Maul in there in the mix. Seems like they've all beaten each other, and seed meeting will be interesting probably next week for that tournament. So Crothersville getting a big win over Hayti, 79-77. And Twin Rivers over Neelyville over in the Ozark Foothills Conference, 60-39. Twin Rivers victorious over the Neelyville Tigers. Oak Ridge over Chaffee, 80-53. Advance over Meadow Heights, 82-57. Webster Groves over Jackson, 45-38. Doniphan over East Prairie, 67-64. Cape Central over Windsor up in Imperial, 79-40. Richland over Southland, 66-50. Scott City over Perryville, 68-51. East Carter over Lesterville, 67-66. Campbell over South Pemiscot, 66-51. And a nice victory for Campbell. They actually got a victory, I think, earlier in the week over Crothersville and then over South Pemiscot last night. So 2 big conference victories in the Boot Hill Conference for the Campbell Camels. So that's a team to look out for as well in that Boot Hill Conference. Cooter over Clarkton, back to Thursday night, 99-75. Gideon over Naylor, 69-58. Holcomb over Southland in the Tri-County Conference, 80-49. Webster Groves over Jackson in the girls ranks. Webster Groves over Jackson, 41-34. Ellington over East Carter, 61-48. Hayti over Campbell, 60-27. Cape Central over Saxony Lutheran, 52-44. Chaffee over East Prairie, 78-11. New Madrid County Central over Charleston, 74-45. Orion over Delta, 74-58. Neelyville over Doniphan, 61-52. Notre Dame over Jackson, 50-27. Twin Rivers over Kennett, 32-27. Poplar Bluff over Sykeston, 55-37. And Malden over Portageville, the Boudreaux Conference, 54-43. And those are the games from the last few days in the area. And if you want to catch up with that New Madrid County Central Dexter broadcast we had last night, you can watch that on a replay basis here on New Wave Channel 21 today, Saturday at noon and 6:30, and also Sunday afternoon at 3. You can catch that replay here on YHC Channel 21, or go online to our website, yhctv.com, and our YouTube and Facebook platforms. You can watch that on demand anytime online through our website and online platforms, New Madrid County Central and Dexter. And it came down to the wire with New Madrid securing that victory. And we're going to take our first break, and we're going to come back with our special guest. We got Andrew Halford going to join us, the Kennett basketball coach, Andrew Halford, talk about their big win last night against Sykeston and the Kennett Indians season so far. We'll come back with that coming up next.
At Bales, we want you to have control of your life and assist you in thriving in an independent lifestyle. The Consumer-Directed Services Program allows you, the consumer, to choose who assists you in conducting your daily activities. Bales serves Stoddard, Dunklin, New Madrid, and Pemiscot counties. Call or visit our office in Kennett to see how we can help you maintain your independence.
At Baldwin Ford Lincoln Toyota, every new vehicle and most pre-owned vehicles come with a lifetime warranty at no cost to you. And what does that cover?
It covers the engine.
And it also covers the transmission.
And it covers the rear end. We're talking about a lifetime of protection, unlimited time, unlimited miles, at absolutely no cost to you for the entire time you own the vehicle.
So come see us at Baldwin Ford Lincoln Toyota, home of the lifetime warranty in Poplar Bluff.
These are some of the greatest young inventors and entrepreneurs in U.S. history. Could you be next? Do you want to win $10,000? If you are currently enrolled in a school in Southeast Missouri and between 7th and 12th grade, you can have your chance. Visit www.brightideacontest.com for contest rules and details.
Hi, I'm Barry Aycock. You can have a bright idea, be from a small school, or live in a small town. Invent something that the whole world uses. We look forward to seeing your bright idea.
We want to spark entrepreneurial spirit in the youth of Southeast Missouri. If you have a business idea or invention, visit www.brightideacontest.com. Entries must be submitted by March 1st. Good luck!
And welcome back in. Now we're along with Andrew Halford. We got him over the phone, the Kennett basketball coach, Andrew Halford. And Andrew, we appreciate you spending some time with us this morning to talk about your big win last night and your season so far, and big win in the conference last night, the CMO Conference, 82-79 over Sykeston. And not only a win, it's up there in the field house at Sykeston. So your team's got to be thrilled and excited about that win last night.
Yes, sir. First of all, thanks for having me. Appreciate you having me on. But we've had some big road wins since the Christmas tournament. Went up to Farmington, after not playing real well in that Bluefield final against Dexter, and found a way to win at Farmington. Went up to Jackson, found a way to win on Jackson's home floor, and then jumping in to Sykeston as well. Going to their place, homecoming, intense atmosphere, intense game, and finding a way to pull one out there. So our guys are playing with a lot of confidence, with a lot of drive, a lot of momentum, and we just need to keep that going as we continue through the year, because we still got a lot of stuff left to go.
Sure, and you've had some nice success up there in the field house. Going back to the CMO Conference Tournament, you got a first round victory over Notre Dame, and Notre Dame, a great team this year there in the conference, and got a nice win up there. And then last night going up playing Sykeston, so that field house has been a pretty nice venue for you this year.
It has, and in that CMO Conference Tournament, we didn't finish like we wanted to. We had a good starting note with Notre Dame early in the year, getting that big win, but then struggled against Cape Central and struggled against Charleston early in the season, which we're going to have a chance to try to get back and find ways to compete better against those two teams in the upcoming games. got a grind of a schedule still with the next 3 games in a row with Bluff. Bluff, then Charleston, then Cape Central in that third game. We got a really difficult stretch here, and starting that 4-game stretch against Sykeston at Sykeston with a big win gives us a lot of momentum to carry from one game to the next.
Sure, and that's one thing about your team, Andrew. I've seen over this year, you don't have a whole lot of size, especially in your front court. Your back court's got quite a bit of size, but it seems like the inside game's really hard to come by. You've got to really stay aggressive on the boards and in the transition, and certainly with the perimeter shooting. It seems like when y'all put it all together, when it comes to the perimeter shooting as well as the transition game with the guards you got to really get out on the break and really play some good defense, you can pretty much beat anyone in the area. It's just all about putting that all together in one game, and it seems like you did that last night. And you've done that quite a bit this year. But man, it seems like you've put all those 3 elements together, y'all can pretty much beat anyone in the area.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've got to do a lot of the little things well each and every night, because just the simple fact of we're not, the most athletic team. We're not the, best ball handlers, anything like that. But we got to continually focus on some of the little things that we're doing on both ends of the floor. And probably a dumb comment by me, but when we're playing well and the ball moves and it goes to the right guys at the right time and we're able to knock down perimeter shots, that's important for us, because like you said, we don't have a big time inside presence. We're a lot of perimeter oriented players. So when we're able to get those shots to fall from the perimeter, that really helps us going throughout the game, because we really struggle getting around the basket and have an opportunity to score, especially if we're not in transition. So seeing those shots fall, give us maintain that momentum that we have throughout the game. We get a little reliant on it at times, but when those shots fall, and we transition from offense to defense, it fuels one another. We have a good defensive possession, and battle on the boards. That's something that's always positive for us.
Sure, your guards out front, Hempfling, Gates, McMullen, Harrell, Pulliam. It seems like they've all got unique strengths. Whether some that can shoot the perimeter shot a little better, but I'll tell you, when you get Pulliam and Harrell going in the transition, boy, you're awful tough. And we saw that quite a bit this year so far. And I tell you, when you got those guards playing to their strengths and their unique strengths across the board, they're awful tough to stop when everything's going that way.
One of the big things for us last night, and that's continued to be a solid area for us. Sykeston's got some very good guard play, starting with Howard. But our guards in Harrell and Pulliam, and then Maddox defending the perimeter, I mean, they've done a really good job. And we even had Maddox, matched up against Clark Stewart last night, and he did a really good job. I know they both ended up, Howard and Stewart both ended up with 20, but for us to keep them to that, the 20, 22, whatever they had for the game, it required a lot of work and a lot of effort on a lot of individual guys' part defensively. So even, you look at the score, you're like, man, you guys gave up 79 against Sykeston. Yeah, but it wasn't, one that we're not having the effort or the intensity level defensively. It's just because Peyton Howard's a really good player and Clark Stewart's a really good player, and they're going to make tough shots at intense times, and we just got to move on to the next play and continue to work on both ends of the floor.
Sure. And you speak of Carter Maddox, seems like he's a little do of everything. He really battles hard on the boards, plays very tough defense. I mean, he really gets scraps on the defensive side, and it seems like he's good for at least 3 or 4 of those little mid-range jumpers that they dump off to him. So he's really come along strong here in the last month, it seems like.
He has. He's shown a lot of growth, a lot of progression from one year to the next. And so much of it is just being a worker. Hard-nosed, hard hat on, ready to work each and every day, and just knowing his role and performing to the best of his ability. And that's such a big deal with our team. You kind of mentioned it earlier. Everybody having strengths, everybody having weaknesses, playing to the strengths and understanding your role. That's part of being a solid team. And we don't have a huge rotation. We only play about 6 guys. And, get those 6 understand their role. Even the guys that are with us every day in practice, some of the upperclassmen understanding their roles on the team, accepting it, and working hard each and every day to help us prepare for the next opponent.
Sure. And it's been a great year for Kennett, coming off a great football season, and you're getting a handful of those kids that go over to the basketball court. It seems like y'all have had a great transition into the basketball season and had some success so far. So, no telling what's going to happen with this Kennett team by the end of the year as the momentum builds towards, the end of the conference season as well into district play. So, you got to say, Halford, it's been a great year for Kennett Indian sports, basically from the fall to the winter here. It's been a great run.
Yeah, it has been, and it's been a joy to be a part of. Coach White puts in a lot of time and effort with football guys. Our volleyball program, moving in the right direction as well in the fall. Obviously, our tennis program in the fall, always competing at a high level, and then jumping into winter sports with girls, boys, basketball, wrestling, and we're excited as the year goes on to keep continuing to get better and be in a position to compete once that district tournament rolls around. And the good thing is we're not going to be at a disadvantage as far as preparation. Every single team that we play from now to the end of the year are going to be teams that get us ready for that district tournament, whether they are district teams or whether they're SEMO conference teams. Every team we're going to play are going to put us in different positions, finding ways to win against different opponents, just to help us prepare for that district tournament. And then hopefully when our season comes to an end, we roll right into softball and baseball and track, and those programs are able to have a lot of success as well.
Sure. And Andrew, just speaking of yourself, it seems like you've been around for a good while. You're still a young guy, but you've been around for a good while. You got your start down at Advance, and came up to Malden, came down to Malden, then down to Kennett, and you've seen a good array of basketball from the smaller school level, the Class 1 level, all the way now up to the Class 3, and even playing in the the SEMO conference, the Class 4 and Class 5 schools. So here in your about 10 years, you've seen pretty much the broad basketball array that we've got to provide here in Southeast Missouri. So you've had quite the run here in the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's been good, but it doesn't have anything to do with me, and it has everything to do with the kids that we've had involved with our programs. From Advance, Coach Dowdy was there the year before I was, and that was a really good situation. Obviously, with his attention to detail and his requirements, I was able to just kind of jump in there and go right kind of where he left off and had some success, and then jump into Malden, which had to make some big changes, but getting those kids in there that were willing to work and put in the time and commitment level it takes to play at a high level, and then the kids here, they were ready from the jump last year. They were ready to compete at a high level. They just needed to learn how to do so, and I'm giving all the credit to those kids, because what I do is insignificant compared to the work that they put in on a yearly basis, because it's not just November through February, March. It starts in that summertime and getting in the weight room, getting on the floor for practices and team camps, and then rolling into preseason and throughout the year. It's a long season, just from November to February or March, but that's not where it ends. It ends up being a year-round deal, year-round commitment for these kids, and my appreciation goes to them for that commitment that they make.
Sure, and it's got to be a privilege to be able to coach in the SEMO conference, going up against that competition each year, and you don't come across the caliber of competition like you do in the SEMO conference, pretty much maybe even across the state of Missouri. So it's got to be exciting as well.
It is. I think when we played the SCAA Conference Tournament early in the year, I might have this wrong, but four of the teams, maybe 5 of the teams were ranked, in their classes within the Missouri top 10, whatever it was, class 3, 4, or 5. And that's just, that goes to the competition level of the conference. If you're able to compete and beat teams within the SCAA Conference, then whatever class you're in, you're going to have a chance to win your district. The problem is when you're in your district, you're going against those same SCAA Conference teams. So our area has a very high level, of competition. It doesn't matter what class you're talking about, whether it's 1 through 5. Our area has a very unique brand. It's physical, a lot of times up and down, and it's just it's good, solid basketball played at a real high level. And when you're able to compete, you get out of this Boot Hill area, then you can go as far as you want to.
Sure. Yeah, it's very exciting, and it's been exciting to follow the Kennett Indians this year so far. Andrew, looking forward to your games ahead. We'll be down there Tuesday night as you take on the Poplar Bluff Mules. That'll be an exciting conference matchup, and we'll be looking forward to that one as well as the remainder of the season. It's been a privilege to follow you guys, and good luck going forward.
I appreciate that. Looking forward to the rest of the season. Go Tribe.
All right. Appreciate it, Andrew, and we'll see you down the road.
All right, man. Thanks.
Okay. Take care. It's Andrew Halford, and quite a run for the Indians so far, and good luck to them Indians going forward. And like I said, we'll get to our broadcast schedule, but we will be down in Kennett for that Poplar Bluff Kennett game for Tuesday. So we'll bring up our schedule here momentarily and get into some headlines from the other night. As we talked about, New Madrid defeats Dexter, and that was a nail biter down to the end. SCAA Conference victory for New Madrid. I think at this point they're 2-2. They lost to Charleston, and Cape Central got conference victories over Kennett and Dexter. So New Madrid, right there, 500 ball in the conference. Dexter has got some more conference games coming up. They don't have very many on the schedule so far. I think they got pretty much most of their conference schedule coming up. So that's where they stand in the conference. And talking about Kennett, shocking Sykeston at the field house, 82-79. Big games from Laquez Pulliam, 19 points on the night. Also Kobe Gates scoring 19 on the night. So they had big nights for the Indians last night. And as Coach Halford said, Stuart Clark and Peyton Howard for the Indians both had around 20 points, or for the Bulldogs had around 20 points. And if you can maintain, limit those guys, contain those guys, you got a good shot. And around 20 points doesn't sound like holding them down or containing them, but if one of those gets off to about 25, 30 points, that could be the difference. So nice effort by the Indians last night, securing a big conference victory. And Sykeston falling down in the standings a bit. I'll tell you, this conference, it's wide open, especially in the regular season. I think I said going back last week, I wouldn't be surprised if we have a shared title this year in the regular season. Sykeston, I think, lost to Notre Dame. Now they've lost to Kennett. And Sykeston's beat Charleston, though. They beat Charleston and still have the Cape Central matchup coming up, and I believe even Poplar Bluff. So, we could even see a three-way tie this year in the regular season for that SCAA Conference title. I wouldn't be surprised. It's that competitive this year across the board. About 4 or 5 teams across the top of that conference could vie for a share of that conference title. So we'll see what happens going forward. Very exciting conference once again this year. And going to Risco and Holcomb. What a game that was, coming down to the end. And Risco falls to Holcomb after a called off buzzer beater. I think it was Cameron Meesey that put a putback at the buzzer. And I saw a lot of cell phone footage. It's like the Zapruder film, they just frame by frame by frame, slow motion. I see quite a bit of that online from that game last night. It looked like Meesey did get it off just in time, but it's just so hard to tell when it comes down to those buzzer beaters with no help of replay. I guess they could have used us last night for a little help. But it looked like he just got it off in like 1/10 of a second. It was out of his hand, but to the naked eye in real time, it's just it's just so hard to call. But Holcomb comes out on top, edging Risco with a called off buzzer beater. But I tell you, Tri-County's tough this year. Holcomb's a much improved team. Risco's been dominant in that conference, and losing a few seniors last year, actually about a handful of seniors, has really brought them back to be a lot more competitive across the conference. So Clarkton's defeated Risco, Holcomb's defeated Risco, but Risco's had some other conference wins. I think Risco and Gideon is going to be coming up pretty soon, I think. I don't want to say for sure. These games are starting to mesh together. I know Gideon's beat Clarkton, and we'll see what happens in that conference. A very competitive conference this year there in the Tri-County, and it's good to see. You want to see these conferences competitive. You don't just want to see a team run away with it and certainly be competitive. So that certainly is the case this year in the Tri-County Conference. Holcomb getting a big victory. It's been some time since Holcomb's beat Risco, probably going back to the 2012 season, I bet. Probably the last time Holcomb's beat Risco, if I can remember correctly, that's going back 8 years now. So it's been quite some time. But, Holcomb getting a nice Tri-County Conference victory over Risco last night. And we're going to take a break, come back and talk about some state rankings for the state of Missouri. Talk about those state rankings as well as our broadcast schedule coming up. Got quite a few games still left on the schedule, and also the Stoddard County Activity Association brackets. We'll talk about those varsity and JV brackets as well. So we'll come back with that coming up.
At Glen Sane, we have savings all over the lot now till January the 1st. You need to come check it out. A new four-wheel drive crew cab, your cost $32,998. What a savings. Look at this, a new crew cab two-wheel drive, your cost $26,998, $400 down, $399 a month. What a savings. We have deals all over the lot. Best price, best service. Glen Sane, and God bless our troops.
And welcome back, and taking a look at the state rankings for the state of Missouri, and we've got quite a few teams in the mix here. And the state rankings for Missouri, take a look at this week's poll, and again, these will not reflect this week's games. Taking a look at these, Dora on top at number 1, as they pretty much have been all years, followed by South Iron. 3, Platte Valley, followed by Mound City, St. Elizabeth, Cairo, Princeton, Delta. The Delta Bobcats in the top 10 at number 8. Mercer and Lesterville rounding out the Class 1 poll for the state of Missouri. And take a look at Class 2, Greenwood, the defending Class 2 state champion, on top at number 1, followed by Hartville, and the Orion Eagles remain at number 3. They're in the top 3. At number 4 is Skyline, followed by Crane, Van Far, Milan, East Buchanan, New Franklin, and Slater. And the Bernie Mules move out of the top 10 poll this week, probably due to that loss to Orion earlier this week. And only one Southeast Missouri team there in the top 10, the Orion Eagles. And in Class 3, Blair Oaks on top at number 1, followed by Father Tolton Catholic. The Charleston Blue Jays, they remain at number 3, followed by Cardinal Ritter, Trinity Catholic, Monroe City. The Kennett Indians remain at number 7. They're in the top 10. Palmyra at number 8, followed by Lathrop and St. Michael the Archangel. And that Class 3 poll is unchanged from last week. Exactly the same from last week's poll. And in Class 4, Vashon at number 1, the defending Class 3 state champions up to Class 4 this year. They've been at number 1 all year long, followed by Raytown South out of Kansas City, followed by McClure, Country Day, Grandview of Kansas City, Cape Notre Dame, Cape Central, Bolivar, Ladue, and Nevada. So a couple of Southeast Missouri teams there in the top 10. Cape Notre Dame and Cape Central there at number 6 and 7. And in Class 5, Chaminade at number 1 in Class 5, followed by Melville, DeSmet, Francis Howell, Christian Brothers College, CBC, Raymore Peculiar, Staley, Liberty, Park Hill South, and Kickapoo. Top 10 poll in Class 5. So those are your boys state rankings for this week. And as you see there, quite a few teams still remain in the top 10, and we're seeing some move in, a couple move out. Actually, Bernie was probably the one that moved out. Delta's moved into that top 10 poll in Class 1, so wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe a few more teams move into those top 10 polls going forward. Very exciting season, and seeing quite a few of our local teams doing quite well so far. And let's take a look at our broadcast schedule going forward, the games that we've got coming up here on YHC, looking to next week, Tuesday night, the 28th. Tuesday the 28th, we got Poplar Bluff at Kennett. SEMO Conference matchup there in Kennett Tuesday night. Should be a good one. Looking forward to that one down in Kennett Tuesday night. Then actually a little change in the schedule. Actually, it's going to be on February 1st. For the Stoddard County final night. It's actually going to be the final day now. There on February 1st, the Stoddard County Tournament final day and night. That'll be 6 games. 6 games on Saturday, February 1st. They've included a consolation bracket for the JV and varsity tournaments. Used to be 4 games on a Friday night. Actually, now it's going to be 6 games on a Saturday for the Stoddard County Activity Association Tournament final games. And that'll be the consolation, third place, and championship games of the JV and varsity tournaments. And that'll get underway Saturday, February 1st, starting at noon. That'll be the JV consolation game, followed by the varsity consolation, followed by the JV third place, followed by the varsity third place, then JV final, then varsity final. The varsity final scheduled at 7:30 that evening and starting at noon there on Saturday. So 6 games right in a row we'll bring to you right here on YHC for that Stoddard County Tournament final day and night there on Saturday, February 1st. And looking forward to the next week. That'll be Tuesday night, Sykes and at Dexter. That's a SEMO Conference matchup. And then Thursday night, Richland at Clarkton. And then the following Friday night, February 7th, the Boot Hill Conference Tournament Finals. That'll be 3 games, the JV Boys Final, Varsity Girls Final, then the Varsity Boys Final. That'll be down at South Pembescott at Steele there on February 7th on that Friday. So those are the games to look forward to going forward here in late January and early February for the next few weeks right here on YHC. And we're going to take another break, and we're going to come back to talk about that Stoddard County Activity Association Tournament. We've got the JV and varsity brackets for this next week, and we'll come back with that, and we'll wrap it up after that. Coming up.
It's time for the Big Finish sales event at Harry Blackwell Dodge in Dexter and Malden.
And here's the proof, like this brand new 2500 Limited was $66,015, now just $49,999.
This Jeep Compass was $24,835, now at only $17,900.
Dodge Charger was $35,904, now $27,900.
The 2019 Ram 1500, MSRP of $38,275, sale price of $28,938.
Harry Blackwell Dodge, Dexter and Malden.
And welcome back, and now let's take a look at that Stoddard County Activity Association Varsity Tournament. And that tournament coming up this week, getting underway Monday. Taking a look at the first round games. Top seeded Bernie will take on 8th seeded Bell City. 4th seeded Puxico versus 5th Richland. 2nd Dexter versus 7th Woodland. And 3rd Advance versus 6th Bloomfield. So the top 3 teams to really look out for: Bernie, Dexter, Advance. And Bernie, Dexter, that game took place last Friday night. Bernie got the win over Dexter, pretty much securing them that top seed in the conference. So quite a few regular season conference games to be played, but the tournament this week in Dexter will be getting underway Monday in Dexter, and should be a great varsity tournament. I'm expecting Bernie and Dexter in that final once again. Would be the rubber match. They met up 2 times already, once in the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament semifinals, where Dexter had a late flurry in the last moments to win that, to advance on to potentially or eventually win the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. So a heartbreaker for Bernie. Then they matched up last Friday night in Dexter. Bernie got out to a big lead early and held on to it for a big regular season conference victory at Dexter. now the conference tournament at Dexter this week, and that will certainly be the matchup to potentially look forward to, Bernie and Dexter. But that Dexter Advanced semifinal could be a close one there. We'll see what happens, but nice varsity tournament slated for Dexter this week in the Stoddard County Activities Association. And the JV tournament, Bernie with the top seed, they'll have a first round bye. They will take on the winner of Dexter and Bloomfield, that 4-5 matchup. Second seeded Advance versus 7th Bell City, and third Woodland versus 6th Puxico, and that's the JV conference tournament. And only 7 teams, Bernie with that first round bye. And as I said, there will be a conference or consolation tournament included in this year's Stoddard County tournament. So look forward to that all this week, taking place at Dexter starting Monday going forward for that Stoddard County tournament. And we'll be there on hand Saturday. Starting at noon with the JV Consolation Championship, followed by the Varsity Consolation, third place for JV, Varsity third place, JV Final, Varsity Final. Those are the 6 games right in a row starting at noon and scheduled to conclude with the final game, Varsity Final, at 7:30 on Saturday. So we'll be looking forward to be there next Saturday in Dexter. And that's pretty much all we got for today's show. Super Bowl taking another week for that. Conference championships last week. The 49ers and the Chiefs advance on to the Super Bowl 54 in Miami next Sunday, February 2nd. And the Chiefs right now 1.5-point favorites. We'll see if that moves. I don't know. I don't think it'll move that much, but a 1.5 favorite, it's going to be close. It's pretty much the dynamic of 49ers defense versus Chiefs offense. I'll tell you, it's 49ers offense. They can give you a fist. Garoppolo, I know they're making a lot of hay of him not really throwing the ball that much last week, only 8 attempts, but he's certainly capable in that running game for 49ers, pretty stout. And the Chiefs, they got to get off to a decent start. I know they've been coming from behind the last few weeks, and that's not the way to play a Super Bowl. You start down with a double-digit deficit and try to come back. So hopefully the Chiefs will get out to a good start. Pulling for the Chiefs, sorry. 49ers fans out there pull for the Chiefs, and hopefully they can pull it off. First Super Bowl in 50 years. Unbelievable. It's been 50 years since they've been to a Super Bowl. And I think they won that back in '69 with Lynn Dawson, but that's been a long time to be in a Super Bowl for 50 years. But hopefully the Chiefs can fare well. Got the Pro Bowl Sunday, tomorrow, there in Orlando. For the Pro Bowl on Sunday. And next week, Sunday, February 2nd, Super Bowl 54 in Miami on Fox. And it's going to do it for us today. Appreciate you for tuning in, as always. Appreciate Andrew Halford for being with us this morning, talking about the Kent Indian season and the big win last night over Sykeston. And I wish you to have a great week. We'll see you next week right here on the Roundtable. We'll probably have a Roundtable, even though we'll be going to the gym right afterwards. So we will look to have a Roundtable next Saturday morning. So look forward to that. And until then, I'm Tyler Wagner. Have yourself a great weekend. Take care, everyone.